False memories are memories that aren't real, but in our minds, they seem real. Like when you thought you've done your laundry or your dishes, but never actually did it. The consequences of any of those actions are somewhat minor, unless you misremember everything that you've been studying for your exam. No wonder I get bad grades, despite being really confident about it. But anyway, there are times when it can be really dangerous and can potentially doom someone, or even yourself. For example, convicting someone based on your false memories, because then you're dooming an innocent person for a crime they didn't commit and a long horrible fate. Memories can also be planted inside your minds, just like in the movie Inception, where the main characters try to implant a thought in someone else's mind by going inside their dreams, making them feel like they're making the decision. And guess what? We kind of can do that too. And let me tell you, it's so much easier than going inside someone else's dreams. For example, some people were even convinced that they have participated in a satanic activity that involved eating babies. This can be done in the form of suggestion, misinformation, or even imagination. With that being said, now you can just imagine having met Mickey Mouse if you really want to meet him. False memory is actually quite common. It is one of the leading causes of false convictions. To some extent, it can even affect the identity and relationships of a person, which is called false memory syndrome. One way to combat false memories is by documenting your life, taking pictures, videos, or even writing journals. I guess that's an argument against Socrates' hatred of writing, because Socrates thought that writing makes you forget and you can interact with what you write. Anyway, he said that learning only happens when you're talking to another person one-on-one. But we wouldn't have known about Socrates if it wasn't for writing. And there's this sci-fi story where scientists found a way to irradiate a region that causes papers to decay faster till it was gone. The US then would use the technique on certain enemy countries, and in no time, records could not be kept, communication stopped, and the governmental machinery and its people's lives are ground to a halt, marking a bloodless victory. A very good story. I mean, I couldn't even make this video if there was no writing system. I personally write everything about my favorite things in my book just in case I lost all my memories, and all about the sweet events that have happened to me because I don't want them to get distorted. Also, you can't effectively argue against a person if they keep changing their memories and arguments. But yeah, false memories are often associated with the Mandela Effect, a term coined by Fiona Broome when she created a website detailing her recollections of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. But Mandela became the president of South Africa after serving 27 years in prison, and he actually died in 2013. But Broome remembered seeing international coverage of news that he died in prison in the 1980s, and she found that other people shared these false memories too. To remember important events in someone's life, people may have opted for photos since they're more vivid. You can see the colors and details. But I don't like it because you generally take photos when you're happy, and in a way, you're creating a false kind of events in your brain. I talk about this in my older video where I said it feels like you're in a cozy room watching the snow fall outside, protected from the unforgiving cold. I guess it applies to videos too. But I like videos more. They're more real. You hear the sounds, the conflict, and the emotions at the time you're recording, especially when you're talking in the video. I guess the evolution of information keeping of our experiences has brought us here to the realm of hearing, seeing, and even feeling if you're playing video games. And we can tweak the experience to set the mood, like putting background music to our videos. It's cool that we started with writing, pictures, audios, and then videos. Now we have scientists trying to visualize our minds. Who knows that maybe we could even record our whole experiences, a time when we can send the taste of the food we eat, the smell of our environment, or even our emotions. Okay, back to the Mandela Effect. Broome believed that the Mandela Effect is proof that there are parallel universes and they're intertwined with our reality, leading toward theories like string theory that argues that there are infinite universes. It means that there are infinite versions of us, and our consciousness is present across the multiverse. But if it's true, then I want to jump between my other consciousness. But what would be the link between me and them? It would suggest that consciousness is a different entity from the body, like a soul. I mean, like, the consciousness is universal, and the link between me and other me is genetics. But if I had clones, that would mean I can go into his consciousness. But that didn't happen with twins because we're stuck inside our brains, and that is quite unfortunate. But I'll talk about it in future videos, I hope. I also talk about this in my older video about being stuck in our bodies. I'm a materialist, not an idealist. And I think that we are just the way our brain is structured. I mean, if you try to disorganize the structure of your frontal lobe, then you won't be here anymore. Just like the case of lobotomies. Or if you got lucky, maybe you can be one of the next geniuses. Just like these cases of people being an accidental genius. Speaking about geniuses, people with superior memory are prone to false memory, just like an ordinary person, especially when the method of suggestion is used. Anyway, despite string theory saying that there are infinite universes, there's still no evidence to support the claim. The words used during interrogation can also create false memories. For example, if people watched a video of a car accident, people recalled seeing broken glass when researchers used the word smashed, while those that were asked the word hit or bump don't recall any broken glass as much. Also, the word "the" can also create false memories, like "did you see the man" as opposed to "did you see anyone" can make people recall a man because it was suggested by the person asking. And our brain wants to align our memories with the suggested information. Also, when people are shown a video of a staged robbery, people recalled more information accurately than those that were live on the scene, although both are still prone to creating false memories. This brings us to the dark side of false memories. Therapists that believe in suppressed memories usually try to recover those memories, usually using hypnosis, guided imagery, or dream interpretation. Like, if they suspected that their patients have endured some kind of abuse, they would try to recover it. However, it's hard to know whether a memory is real or not. And this in turn created several cases of false memories, where patients create their own social reality where they thought they were sexually abused as a child. This isn't surprising, since a lot of experiments show that memories can be planted, even those that are quite traumatizing or extreme, like hospitalization, riding a hot air balloon, or attending a religious ceremony, although it's harder to implant a plausible offense. Implantation is also more likely if you tell the subject to imagine those things in rich details. But not all people are equally likely to form false memories. Children and older adults are more prone to it than college students. Some witnesses can convict a wrong person because of their false memories. Ronald was arrested for rape in 1984 and wrongfully imprisoned for 10 years just because someone else thought he did it. Imagine living in prison for 10 years for something you never did. The Ramona false memory case dealt with a supposedly false memory planted by two therapists in their patient, and the father, Gary Ramona, successfully sued the psychiatrist whom he accused of having implanted memories of incestual abuse into his daughter using a hypnotic drug. He was also awarded $500,000 for the damages and losses for the false allegations in 1994. In 1986, Nadean was convinced that she had repressed memory of having been in a satanic cult, eating babies, being raped, having sex with animals, and being forced to watch the murder of her 8-year-old friend. She believed she had 120 personalities, children, adult, angels, and even a dog, all because the psychiatrist uses hypnosis on her to dig out so-called repressed memories. The psychiatrist then performed exorcisms on her, one of which lasted for 5 hours and included the sprinkling of holy water and screams for Satan to leave Cool's body. When Cool realized this, she sued the psychiatrist for $2.4 million. But you can also be accused of having done something you never did and then develop those memories, even if you denied it at first, just like the case of Paul Ingram. In 1988, Paul Ingram, a police officer, was arrested for sexually abusing his 2 daughters, which he strongly denied. But the pressure from fellow officers, psychologists, and other advisors made him confess to all manner of rapes, child abuse, and even to the extent of participating in a Satan-worshipping cult, in which he allegedly murdered 25 babies. The prosecution then brought the renowned memory researcher Dr. Richard Ofshe. He found some inconsistencies in Ingram's stories, and he even planted a new memory that he confirmed with both his son and daughter that hadn't actually happened. Ingram first denied the memory, but after a few hours began to generate those false memories. Ultimately, Ingram wrote a 3-page confession to a crime that is completely fabricated. Unfortunately, Ingram remained in jail until 2003 because of his report wasn't issued until he had already confessed and been convicted. He wasn't able to withdraw his guilty plea and is still registered as a sex offender, despite many doubting his guilt. Those instances show that our memories can be weaponized, but they can also be directed towards the masses, especially in the form of fake news, like photoshopped images. By the way, I found this artist on Twitter who made this stuff, which is really cool. And also, he wanted me to clarify that his arts were not real, they're fictional, because this caused him some problems in the past. I guess some people are just quite gullible. But the fact that anyone with bad intentions, with access to the internet, can do this is quite scary. The age before the internet required news headlines to be filtered and printed before anyone can read them, although sometimes they're just blatant propaganda. But now, you can upload edited media and spread them at the speed of memes and cute animal videos. You can also use AI to even fabricate someone doing anything.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
And there's this thing called the almighty algorithm that rules many of our social media realms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The tricky part is that even if you don't believe those illusions, they can still warp your memories. It's a big problem for democracy and our sanity because we need the same picture of actual reality to make informed decisions about policy, politicians, and our own well-being and health. We now have a very polarized public that is willing to believe the worst about their opponents. We have people that are willing to spark violence. We have those that are willing to monetize fake news for personal gains, and this creates a perfect storm for an information war. And also, people will believe something is true if they're told repetitively about it. And online, you can find like-minded people like this subreddit that I found when I was agonizing working at a retail job. Gosh, I hate retail jobs. Or you get a bunch of people believing that the world is flat. People like things that fit their viewpoints, and if something doesn't fit, they'll say it was faked. When you don't know something, but it keeps nagging at the back of your mind, will you listen to someone telling you that you're not just wrong, but crazy? So in order to avoid being wrong and crazy, I guess we have to keep documenting our lives. And this reminds me of the 1 second of everyday video thing, where you record a second of your day for however long you want and compile it. After 5 years or so, it'll be such an experience to watch it back, and you'll thank yourself for doing that. Or just document everything that you've experienced. Write, take pictures and videos, and if there were too many videos of yourself, just keep those that really give you sparks of joy, those that are meaningful to you, and cherish them, just like what Marie Kondo said. Our memory is not a recording device, but more like a Wikipedia page. You can change it, but others can too, although there are people checking it for accuracy. I think it would be fun to remember events before the age of 3 or 4 because I can't remember being born or being anything under the age of 3 or 2. It's called childhood amnesia. It happens because of neurogenesis, where nervous tissue develops and old cells get recycled or reformed, taking away all the childhood memories. But do you really want to remember being born or crying all the time? After all we did was sleep or do nothing. Maybe it'll be cool, maybe it'll be traumatizing or boring. Anyway, thank you for watching.